Okay, we are here back at this high performance home project that we've been contracted to install the HVAC in. If you recall, the last time we were here, we did a duct leakage check after our rough-in, and now we're here to trim the house out. So this is the time when we go back through our rough installation and just see if there's anything that has come undone. Maybe another trade has pulled down our duct or disconnected anything. We're going to go through all of our work and make sure that's still in good shape back from when we roughed in this job. Trim out is the time when all the exterior pieces get put on. Of course, the outdoor equipment gets installed also when we do a trim out. Our indoor equipment was already installed and completely 100% ducted up, but outdoor equipment had to be installed here this week, and we've done that. Of course, we take special care to use nitrogen when brazing, pull a good vacuum down below 500 microns so that our high performance system is also reliable. We don't have moisture in the lines, which could lead to early compressor failure. Because we also did all the gas piping for this project, our trim out also gets us prepared to pass our final gas test. So that also includes a pressure test of all our gas lines, and any penetration that we're responsible for, like that one, we're gonna go ahead and caulk up and seal so we don't have any infiltration into the envelope. Before installing any registers or grills, you want to be able to caulk the gap. It looks like I need to touch that up a little bit more right there, but we want to caulk this gap between the metal and the sheetrock. This is going to prevent any kind of air infiltration into the envelope through these little cracks and seams. Because this is a high performance home, we're really concerned about the indoor air quality. And inevitably, debris is going to get in these floor boots. So before we put our register back on, we're going to take our cordless shop vac, which is just a must when you're doing this kind of work, and clean those boots out as best we can. And during the entire project, we kept these covered up, but just things inevitably get back on or get inside the boot. Once we put our register back on, we'll cover this up so that nothing gets past the register and dirties up inside that duct again. Also, we want to cover up that register so it doesn't get scratched. You may be wondering, why are you putting in registers when the floor isn't put in yet? The flooring on this house is delayed, and we're trying to get our trade permits or finals in, so we need to have a register in everywhere to get our finals. So hopefully we don't get a bunch of registers that are getting scratched, but if we do, we might have to replace a few of them. We'll do the best we can to cover these up and tape this up and secure it so that the register is at least guarded from heavy stuff scratching it. Same thing with supply registers. We need to make sure we get them caulked up so that we don't have any air leaks outside those penetrations. I go into so many houses and I look up and the registers are not even square to the wall. That is low-hanging fruit from a craftsmanship standpoint. I mean, sure, that has nothing to do with home performance, but just take your time and put these registers on straight. The final product is going to look so much better, and it's going to show that you really care. For thermostats, I like the Ecobee thermostat because it's got all the energy reports and monitoring that you would want to see as a homeowner. It's easy to use, and it's been a very reliable thermostat, and we've had a lot of trouble with some of the other well-known makers of smart thermostats in the past. We've had a lot of warranty issues with them. This has been really good to us. Now for a trim out, I go ahead and install the thermostat, but then I take the front of it off and I secure that so it doesn't walk off the job. And so we'll just leave the sub base hooked up and with a note for the inspector so that he knows that we've got the thermostat in our possession, and then we'll put it on and program it on startup. So it's always a good idea to caulk the hole that your thermostat wires are poking through. This really accomplishes two things. It prevents some kind of air current or air path from traveling up the wall and out of that hole and influencing the thermostat's temperature reading, and it also cuts back on infiltration. Now in this case, it's probably not much of a chance of either of that happening in this type of house, but it's a good habit to be in and stay in, and just do it on every thermostat installation that we do. Here's where we're pulling in our fresh air to dilute the particulate matter in the VOCs when they inevitably start to build up in the house. And this will especially happen in the first few months of living in the house, when all that construction dust is starting to get cleaned out of the system by the HVAC system. Any kind of construction cleaning company is never going to be able to get it all out, and it eventually just has to be pulled through the air filter. Also, because we have paints and varnishes and other chemicals that will eventually off-gas, our VOC count will probably be a little higher in the first few months, or maybe perhaps just weeks of living in the house. And so this is how we will dilute those VOCs, pulling through this 6-inch fresh air. This is the first project that we'll be using the Haven Central Air Monitor and Controller by ZOA. This is a fairly new product that's out to market, and it inserts into the airstream right here into our return, and it senses our air before that air passes through the air filter. What it's looking for is high VOC count or high particulate matter count or high humidity. And then we're going to employ our indoor air quality products to try to clean that air quality up. This is our central air controller. This is the relay pack that actually switches on our indoor air quality devices. In the event of high particulate matter count or high VOCs, the central air controller will then keep the air handler running so that we can be cleaning up the air through that MERV 11 filter. In addition, the Santa Fe ventilating dehumidifier will start drawing in outside air via this motorized damper right here. And the filter inside the Santa Fe is a MERV 13. And so that will also clean up the air and dilute the VOC count in that air with fresh air. If the central air controller senses high indoor humidity, it will then energize the dehumidification circuit on this dehumidifier, and that will start drying the air so that we can keep the indoor humidity levels under 60% relative humidity and maintain a nice healthy building. Because this is a zoned system, we have a zone controller. This is a Total Line brand zone controller that we get from our carrier rep. I like this zone controller because it stages heating and cooling steps a little differently than others. For one, it will lock out the second stage heating and cooling when only one zone is calling, so that we don't over air that zone, and you don't hear a hurricane of air coming out of the vents because the entire system is trying to come out of one zone. The other thing I like about it is it's also a fresh air controller. It has some settings in here, as well as some relay contacts that you can energize fresh air. That's something that I have not seen out of any other zone controller. Assuming we pass our final inspection, the next time we come out is going to be to do the startup and commissioning test and balance of the system. Everything is wired, ready to go. Everything is connected. All we now need to do, what we're waiting on, is to be able to hook up power to it and begin starting up the system, checking its operation, making sure it's performing exactly how it was designed and intended to perform.